we have been up at 2 o'clock in the morning. You've got to be at the bottom of the hill at 3 a.m. We're driving at 5 a.m. It only takes a split second and it's game over. I'm Mike Whiddett, pro drifter from New Zealand. We're here at Pikes Peak this Sunday. Let's go! Yoo!
Every year, the Pikes Peak International Hill Climb brings the wildest cars from around the world to take on what is regarded by many as the holy grail of hill climb events. It's known as the Race to the Clouds, and the finish line is literally in the clouds, sitting at over 14,000 feet or 4.2 kilometres above sea level. The massive change in altitude and the thin air that comes with it presents a huge challenge to the teams, and just reaching the top with its breathtaking, unobstructed views of Colorado Springs is often cited as one of the greatest achievements in motorsport. This year saw Mad Mike Whiddett's debut in the iconic race, and true to form, the Kiwi pro drifter tackled the mountain in a screaming rotary-powered Mazda.
Yeah, so our Bullet Mazda 3, so obviously taking out the factory 4-cylinder and put 26B 4-rotor, twin turbos, just running twin G40s on it. We're running the Nexus for management, and then obviously rear-wheel drive conversion. So that's like the biggest thing, obviously, taking a front-wheel drive car, converting it to rear-wheel drive, pulling out the piston engine and throwing in what we know best, the rotary.
The original 4-cylinder front-wheel drive powertrain was quickly removed and replaced with a turbocharged 1400 horsepower quad-rotor and a 6-speed sequential Hollinger gearbox driving the rear axles. The whole setup is controlled by a Nexus R5 PD16 combination, while an IC7 dash is included so Mike can keep an eye on all of the car's vitals.
For the rear-wheel drive conversion, we had to create a tunnel because there's only not much of a tunnel at all. So Pikes Peak is pretty actually open on what you can do to a car, but we're like, to make this car more usable, let's build. And I also wanted to prove to everyone how fast drift cars are these days, because people, we talk about 1200 horsepower drift cars, and it's, to Joe Blogg is like, oh, they just want heaps of horsepower so they have heaps of smoke. It's like, no, we need that much power, because that's how much development and technology is in the tires, the suspension. So we need that much power to overcome the grip. So rear-wheel drive converted, built to Formula Drift rules. So the engine can't go any further back than the firewall. So you'll see where the firewall is. That's the backing plate of the motor, where the gearbox. It runs a Hollinger RD6 SS 6-speed sequential, which gives us all the ratios we need. We've got them as close as possible, because then depending on the track, whether it's drifting, even this weekend for Pikes, each sector we're like, okay, we've got the perfect ratio. Get to the next sector, no, it's too tall. So with a Winter's quick change, it's literally a 5-minute job. Back cover off, change the gears. They're super strong, and allows us, now we've got a good ratio that kind of balances out over the entire hill here at Pikes.
With a total of 156 turns and no forgiveness for any miscalculation, tackling the mountain at full speed is challenging for even the most seasoned veteran. Imagine then being a first-timer and then adding the complexity of a brand new, virtually untested car to that equation. With just over a year to complete the car, Kawato-san and his team were given the task of building this one-off Mazda 3 at TCP Magic in Japan.
So the main challenge, I guess, is me learning the car, because I feel like for my first rookie year, I'd be way more comfortable driving my Formula Drift Championship winning Humble, which is pretty much the same engine package in a 1992 Mazda RX-7, but that car is like an extension of my body. So to learn the hill and learn everything, the altitude, the breathing, the oxygen, is just, there's so much going on from, I've studied for so long now, knowing that I'm coming to Pikes, on the simulator, training, like all the stuff, and then actually coming here. And they don't show you behind the scenes that your drift week, we have been up at 2 o'clock in the morning at the track. You've got to be at the bottom of the hill at 3 a.m. We're driving at 5 a.m. Track closes at 8 a.m. So all the stuff that's going on. So I've been trying to train myself as much as possible, but it's like I say, it would have been nice to learn in a car that I know, but we've done really well. Like, we were fastest in one of the sectors, fifth in one in the other, and third in the other. So we've stacked up pretty well, like in our class and overall as well, like well over exceeded my expectations. So this was meant to race Pikes Peak last year. Obviously with the lockdowns, me and New Zealand not being able to get to Japan, help Quad-Rotor, build the car, test the car, and all that. So that slowed things right down. What I did do is take the opportunity. Ken Block said, come over, bro, and just absorb as much as you can. Just be my shadow and just absorb it. So came up here and got to experience that oxygen and all of that. But what that did do is give us a year to actually complete the car. I felt like at that time, we were racing to get the car built. We don't want to be racing to get the car built. We want to be racing the time up the hill because, I personally, behind the wheel, have to have 100% trust in this car. You don't want to be thinking when you're behind the wheel, going that fast with the cliff drops and the banks and, the danger levels, thinking about, is the tie rod done up tight? Is this freaking, what's going to happen? The tire pressure's done. Like, I got the best freaking team here. I know that. I got the best car here. It's just the development, it's built in a different way to everyone else's.
The level of concentration needed to tame a screaming 1400 horsepower brute up the snow-covered mountain is immense. This really emphasises the level of confidence Mike has in his team and his car. There is no room for error.
Everything that we're running in this car, all the partners that support our drift program, and we've used them because we know they have the reliability, and we've proven now, like, for us, the biggest achievement for us this weekend is to get from the bottom to the top. And a rotary that's freaking 1400 horsepower, no assist, no traction control, no ABS, no stability control, no auto blips, no flat shift, nothing. It's entirely 100% me and the car and trying to make that an extension of my body. I personally do not have a split second to look down and see what's happening on the dash, especially going up the hill, because there's just so much going on. But to be able to have that, be able to come in, plug in, bang, download all the data, the guys can study it. But tune-wise, it has been awesome. And then everything else, like, we haven't had to do any repairs. There's been no, issues. It's just literally been playing with setup for me as confidence. So tyre pressures, spring rates, shock settings, boosts, such simple stuff, stuff you would not even think about. This is not a Lego kit. But to be fair, most Pikes Peak cars are not Lego kits. I mean, there's certain categories that are production cars, but that's what I love about, of course, as a driver, I love to drive and scare the shit out of myself. But at the same time, I love the design aspect, the building aspect, the engagement I can have with my fans, just building a car, whether it's designing a wheel or body kit or something, So that whole process has been really fun as well.
And while claiming the fastest ever rotary title at the Pikes Peak International Hill Climb is cool, there's only one thing that's more important to Mike.
Priority one to me and my team is have fun. If we're having fun, it doesn't matter what championship we're lining up for, whether it's the World Drift Champs, whether it's a world record, whether it's a film shoot, whether we're showcasing drifting at Formula One, we're at Pikes Peak. Have fun, man.